your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? Now listen, man, you can tap in and you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now you already know. Time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G. I know they got y'all here chasing the bag, chasing that money, chasing that paper, stacking that cheese, that cheddar, and that mozzarella. But always keep it in the front of your mental Rolodex that time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G's, at all times. Big salute to all my day one investors. Everybody that's highly invested in the channel, everybody that understands that we are growing this channel organically, constant elevation. Yeah, we on our way to the top, well over 40,000 subscribers, and we on our way to 50K. Even bigger salute to all my newcomers, all my new subscribers, everybody that's making their way to the Realest channel on YouTube, Grown Man Business TV. Oh yeah, you already know, man, I carved out a lane for the real, and I'm the only one in it. Feel what I'm saying? You already know how I'm giving it up, and you absolutely know how I'm putting it down. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now do me a favor. Wipe your feet off before you step into the big house. You understand me? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure your notification bells are ringing loud and clear every time we go live right here on the Realest channel on YouTube. You already know, Grown Man Business TV. Feel what I'm saying? Big salute to the chat. This not going to be a long live stream. You know, midday tap in. Got some business to handle, but I did want to tap into the people and, you know, just deliver these downloads, you know, drop these gems, give up this pure dope straight off the brick directly into the bottle, right? And Donald Trump is crashing America out. I mean, listen, man, there is no in between. There is no gray area. Donald J. Trump is crashing America out. You understand me? And you have to understand something. Before you can rebuild anything, anything worth having, you have to destroy it. You have to destroy what you already had so that you can rebuild on top of it. And I got a lot of people in the DM, yo, GMB TV, what's your perspective on what's going on out there in Chicago? What's your perspective on everything that's taking place out there in California? I mean, they're doing a nationwide tour with the National Guard. And I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, we're going to tap into this because, again, I got a lot of people in the DM that are really anxious for my perspective. They're really anxious for this pure dope straight off the brick directly into the bottles. And I don't mind being the bearer of bad news. I don't mind being the bearer of bad news. And if you like it or not, you understand me? America, the whole system, the matrix, this whole patriarch that we've been under for all of these years, that we grew up, we were forced into loving it. We were forced into accepting it. You know, white supremacy. This whole situation is being crashed out, and the globe, the world is watching. The world is watching, man, and they know what's happening. You understand? The crazy thing about it is you don't know what's happening. This is the first time you ever seen something like this happen in your life. You understand me? Watching the empire crumble. All right, so before we go any further, you already know I got to do some customizations to the chat. You know, we're not gonna stay long, but I did want to tap in. I mean, it's happening right before our eyes. All right, so it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Let's see what we could do, man. You already know, you know, the higher ups and the elites are always working overtime. They're always trying to muffle the channel. They're always trying to muffle the message. They're always trying to shadow ban the situation that we got going on over here. You feel what I'm saying? So one thing for sure and two things for certain, I got to do some customizations to the chat. All right, now we went crazy last night. I ain't gonna lie to you. They really didn't want that live stream to be posted. If you notice, the live stream I did last night about, you know, Jim Jones and X, Y, and Z is just now being posted to the channel. They really didn't want that one to go, but you can't stop the message. You know what I mean? My voice is powerful, and it's nothing you could do about it. Yeah, before you knew it, I'm already approaching 50,000 subscribers. You know, you didn't know that I was going to be a threat to the establishment, or you would have tried to, yeah. You know, we don't look at the double cross. We always pay attention to the triple cross. So I'm going to do this customizations to the chat, and we're going to get into this. Big salute to everybody that's tapped in. I know it's early, it's midday. A lot of y'all are probably at work playing within the matrix. I got some business to handle myself, so this is not going to be a long live stream. Bam, you see that at the bottom of the chat, right? Before you get comment section with your Twitter fingers, doing your Twittering with your Twitter fingers, all in the comment section, Twittering back and forth with your Twitter fingers and all that with Grown Man Business TV. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure your notification bells are ringing loud and clear, my G. Loud and clear. All right, now let's talk about this. You know, the destruction, demolition of the American society. Yeah, this is a demolition course that we're watching right now, where you got all the National Guards out there in Chicago, you know, harassing American citizens. You got the National Guard out there in California harassing American citizens, you know, basically begging for war. I mean, they're doing any and everything possible to try to provoke the American people to go to war with the government. You understand? I mean, they are doing, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I seen a little baby with handcuffs on. Yeah, a little black baby out there in Chicago. They put zip ties and they put handcuffs on a baby. You understand what I'm saying? So it's getting deep, it's getting wicked, and it's always deeper than rap. They are begging for a war so that they can crash out America furthermore, so that they could take it to the next level. And I keep telling y'all, the American citizens fall back. You know, out there in Chicago, it's a lot of gang members. Where's all those guns at? Where's all those switches at? Where's all those gang members out there in Chicago that was deleting and sliding and killing black people? Where are all you gang members at? See, it ain't just Washington, D.C. I'm going to do this for every city I see it going down in. All of a sudden, it ain't no gang members around. All of a sudden, we ain't hearing no switches out there in Chicago. Same thing with California. You got the Bloods, you got the Crips, you got the Pyrus, you got the Grape Streets, you got all these different gang members. But then at the same time, you got the National Guard running up in buildings, harassing civilians, and it ain't been one drive-by. It ain't been one drive-by. It ain't been one SK. I ain't seen one Jerry curl hanging out the coop. I ain't seen none of that out there in California. And this is what you got to understand, right? They are trained to see what you are willing to go to war for. Are you willing to die for your family? Are you willing to go to war for your neighbor? What are you willing to go to war for? And that's what they will attack. The problem is, it's looking like black people ain't willing to go to war for nothing. That little baby with those handcuffs on, it's supposed to have been a whole bunch of YNs out there going to war behind that. Yeah. Them people running up in them buildings, disrespecting your grandma, disrespecting your mother, disrespecting your aunties and all that. It's supposed to have been 1,000 YNs out there ready to go to war. So the double cross is being implemented. This is the double cross. I always tell you, don't pay attention to the double cross. I always tell you, look out for the triple cross. And I'm going to let you know exactly what's going on with the triple cross. We tapped into it last night, but I'm going to come from a different angle today. This land is about to be relinquished. This land is about to be given to the meek. You understand what I'm saying? You think it's just a war on civilians? You think it's just a war on immigration? No, it's a war on American soil for American soil. Before they give up this land, before they give up this land to the rightful owner, they'll get you guys implemented, and they'll have the National Guard, and they'll get you used to going to war with American government. The military. That's what they're doing. Every time they go into one of these cities, we become more desensitized to seeing the American government, the military coming into our cities and harassing everyday American citizens, tax-paying American citizens. And it's absolutely nasty work. Absolutely nasty work, but it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be, because this is only the double cross. Big salute to the chat. Charlie P, I see you in here. We're not going to stay long, but I want to get right into this. Why is this the double cross, GMB TV? Well, they got us distracted. They got us looking at the National Guard. They got us the debating if we want to go to war with the National Guard. They got us doing content on what's going on with these different cities in the National Guard. But the triple cross is the desensitization that comes with that. How you become desensitized. We ain't never been custom or used to the American military invading our cities. Yeah, we might have to deal with the police, but we ain't never had to deal with the National Guard or the US military. So that's one angle, desensitizing you, making you comfortable, making this a normal and a regular thing. Because when it's time for them to relinquish this land, they're going to use the military to try to control this. They're going to use your own people that are in the military to control this, to stop this from happening. Now, one thing for sure, two things for certain. You already know how I do over here at Grown Man Business TV, right? I kept the receipts. I do not leave the house without the receipts, my G. I kept the receipts. And what I need you to understand is this. The globe, the world is watching. Not only is the world watching us, but they are plotting and they are scheming. Oh yeah, this is chess, baby. This is not checkers. That's where Donald Trump, that's where white supremacy, that's where the dog fur got it confused at. The dog fur got it confused. The dog fur still think that they in control and the world is watching. The world is plotting. Oh yeah, Russia, China, Africa. I'm talking, I could go down the list. That whole BRIC situation. They having dinners, they having meetings, and they are not including America. This is the first time in history we can call this, we can see this with our own eyes, where you got different countries plotting and scheming, having meetings without America. While the whole time you got the Donald Trump invading American cities. You got Donald Trump so worried about invading American cities that he ain't looking. See, he done fell for the double cross. He ain't paying attention to the triple cross. And like I said, I got the receipts, my G. I'm not gonna hold back. We gonna get right into the paperwork of this. I ain't gonna do nothing, but I'm never gonna lie to you. The downloads are the downloads. The world is watching. And again, the only reason they ain't ran up in America, listen, you got the military on American soil attacking American citizens. You think China wouldn't take this chance to run up in America? You think the BRIC situation, they getting the, listen, they dotting every I and they crossing every T before it's time to go to war. And what you got to understand is it ain't a war against us. It ain't a war against the children of God, the chosen people. It ain't a war against us. We just so connected to the dog fur. We so intertwined with the dog fur. We so stuck in the matrix that it make it hard for the outside world to intervene. It make it hard for them. It make it hard for them to come get what they really want. Oh, and I'm going to go deeper into that. See, one thing for sure and two things for certain about that dog fur. I want to say this. Before we get into this receipt, I want to say this. The dog fur will do some of the most diabolical things to other humans. I mean, they will do some despicable shit to people, and they just seem to forget about it. You follow me on this? You know, white people, they will do some of the most wildest things to other races and to other people and other demographics. And then after 5 or 10 years, they just move on. Slavery, that was 200 years ago. Why are you guys still talking about that? Why don't you just get over it? But I want to go deeper. You think them people forgot about Hiroshima? Let me listen. I know it's different. You think because your dog fur don't connect to the universe. Your dog fur don't connect to the earth. Your dog fur don't got the frequencies that we got. The dog fur keep you vibrating at a low frequency. You think those people forgot about Pearl Harbor, how you lied about Pearl Harbor, and then went over there and dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima? See, listen. I'm trying to tell you something. They never forgot about Hiroshima. They never forgot about that atomic bomb that you dropped on innocent children, innocent women, elderly people. They never forgot about that. The same way we never forgot about slavery. We never forgot about that. You think just because they've been doing business with white supremacy, with America, they forgot about Hiroshima? Absolutely nasty work. They've been plotting for they've been plotting for a long time to get some get back. And what I'm here to tell you is we are right on the brink of that. They are dotting every I and crossing every T as America falls. As this regime as we known it, white supremacy, dog fur on dog fur violence, as this regime crumbles, they are plotting their get back. And when it's time to rebuild, my G, it's going to be a whole nother game plan. Yeah, let's get into this receipt. But these downloads, they are downloading. It's a powerful message. You have to destroy before you can rebuild. And it's looking like destruction. Yeah, listen. It's looking like a demolition. Let's let my man talk. Hey, look, big salute to the chat. Hit the like button and all that, man. Well over 300 people in here. Well over 300 people in the chat. Run them likes up. Let's get in the receipt right here, all right? Big salute. Look.
I mean, you got to give it to Trump. He said that he would bring the world together. That's exactly what he's doing. The problem is, he's also making the United States completely irrelevant in the process. If you haven't heard, China just hosted this huge summit, a dinner rehearsal, if you will, and the United States wasn't even invited. China is sitting at the head of the table, and America doesn't even have a seat. Russia was there. India was there. Iran, Pakistan, even Kim Jong-un showed up to the after party. All of them together deciding what dish they could bring now that America isn't catering the event. They discussed plans to trade in their own currency instead of the US dollar, a way to completely bypass American banks so that Washington can no longer freeze their deals or block their transactions. They talked about building their own emergency fund, a backup to the IMF, so that when countries go broke, they don't have to sell their economies off to US corporations just to get a bailout. They talked about using China's GPS system instead of ours. They talked about laying down pipelines and railways that avoid US control. They talked about setting up digital payment networks that make American sanctions almost useless. Dish by dish, they're preparing for a world not catered by the United States, and everyone is bringing something to the party. China is bringing the checkbook, the satellites, the leadership. Russia is bringing oil, gas, nuclear weapons, forestry, farmland. India has 1.4 billion people, the fastest growing economy on earth. Is bringing code, engineers, factories. Turkey has a bridge between Europe and Asia controlling pipelines and railways. It has the Bosporus Strait, one of the most critical waterways on earth. Iran has oil and gas. Iran has the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping lanes. Iran also has decades of practice surviving U.S. sanctions. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Pakistan also has a massive young population. It also has geography that connects Central Asia to the Arabian Sea, opening up trade routes and ports and pipelines. Central Asia has oil, gas, uranium, rare minerals. It also has the Silk Road corridor, the bridge that connects the east to the west. Whoever controls those routes controls the flow of goods, energy, and armies across Eurasia. The world is preparing for their independence. For decades, we told ourselves that the world couldn't function without us, that the dollar was irreplaceable, that no global deal would happen without Washington's blessing, that we were the glue holding it all together. But with great power comes great responsibility, and America has been grossly irresponsible with that power. So while we were busy bullying the world into submission, they were quietly building a plan B. And this Tianjin summit was the reveal of that plan B. A dinner rehearsal for a world where America is not at the table, where America is not providing a dish. Trump called himself the peace president, the man that would end forever wars, the man that would bring the world together. Well, the world is coming together, and the plan isn't to attack America and to start another war. The plan is to build a future where America doesn't even matter at all. Have you ever wanted to...
Woo. Now, my man said a mouthful. He said a lot with that. Again, I understand the angle of wanting to protect U.S. citizens and lower violence and all of these different things. But when you got the president of the United States solely focused on invading American cities, and then you got the rest of the world, the rest of the globe, plotting and scheming, creating the table where America doesn't have a seat. This is where the destruction comes. This is where demolition comes. This is the fall of an ideology. See, America is America. I keep telling y'all, America is the promised land. America is America. The soil, the landscape. You understand everything that come with this great land of ours. America is America. But the mind state, white supremacy, racism, the bully mentality, everything that come with the beast, everything that come with that dog fur, everything that come with it is crashing down. So, I got to give y'all these downloads because you got to understand something. When they tell you that America is falling, they want you to think that this land is falling. In all actuality, it is the perverted, distorted, nasty mindset of that dog fur. Across the globe, people no longer want to sit down and do business with the dog fur. People no longer want to sit in a room with white men that think that they are above everybody, that they rule the world, that everything they say has to go. White men that feel like they can pry into everybody's business, but we can't pry into your business. I'm trying to give y'all some game. See, you worried about gang violence. You worried about black on black violence. But as soon as we start talking about the 70% of white men that have been engaging in child pornography. Yeah, I said corn. Corn on the cob, pornography. Yeah, that's just for YouTube, in case y'all got it confused. When we start asking questions about that, 70% of white men engage in that type of activity. We don't want to talk about the Epstein files. Y'all don't want us to engage and y'all don't want us to pry into y'all business, but y'all sending the National Guard into American cities because of black on black violence. Y'all don't want to talk about the Ku Klux Klan. Y'all don't want to talk about slavery. Y'all don't never want to talk about the ills of the dog fur. Yeah. One thing for sure and two things for certain. You already know how I do here at Grown Man Business TV. I kept the receipts and I do my due diligence. Yeah. Well over 65 to 70% of all white men have engaged or have watched or have done some type of nasty business with the young ones. Yeah, I gotta say the young ones, the little ones. Over 65 fucking percent. So it's very likely you have shaken the hand of a white man that has engaged in that pornography. One of your bosses, one of the people that you engage with, a dog fur having Neanderthal in the world. See, China ain't got no problem doing business with Africa. Africa ain't got no problem doing business with Russia. And so on and so on. See, outside of America, around the world, is somebody bringing something different to the table. And my man just did a beautiful job explaining it. China's bringing money. They bringing the wallet. India's bringing engineers, coding. My man said it best. I won't even try to repeat it. I might let the receipt go one more time because it was such amazing information. And again, we sit here, foundational Black Americans, you know, the indigenous people of this continent, the owners, the rulers, the people who own, this is our land. And we've been telling the dog for all these years, hey man, dumb it down. The black man has been your only friend. Word to Charleston White. The black man has been your only friend. And look how you mistreat us. Look how you handle us. Yeah. The black man has been your only counterpart. White people, I want you to hear me. Dog fur, I want you to understand me. The black man, regardless of what we've been through, regardless of what y'all did to our ancestors, we have been your only friend. And look at how y'all handle us. Look at what y'all still do to us to this day. And you wonder why those other continents, the BRICS, is about, yeah, they about to deploy some shit. They about to really do something. Y'all are all, it's already checkmate. It's nothing y'all could do. And I'm trying to get y'all this game. That's why you see everything happening on American soil. You don't really see us talking about foreign politics anymore. You don't see us talking about Iran and Iraq and China and South Korea and Russia and the Ukraine. I mean, whatever happened to the war in the Ukraine? Didn't we just give the Ukrainian people $800 billion last year? But we ain't heard nothing about the war in the Ukraine. I guess it's over. I guess after we paid them that money, everything is in harmony now. It's checkmate. Y'all have been so drunk off of power and racism and blood and murder that y'all couldn't even see the triple cross, the plotting and the scheming that been taking place. I mean, I can't make this up, B. The game is the game. Let's see what we got here. Let my man talk a little bit longer, man. I'm gonna let the receipt. That receipt was an ill receipt right there. We have been your only counterparts. Nobody rocks with you. Look, let me get back into it. Let my man talk one more time. Yeah, y'all, look. Dog fur people. It's basically over. So now y'all got some urgency. Y'all trying to install fear in American people. Y'all trying to invade American cities so that y'all can try to get a grip on what's going to happen. But what I'm here to tell you is, like it or love it, the game is over. White supremacy is being flushed down the toilet like diarrhea. That shit don't even scare people no more. That nobody in the world is scared of nobody fears Donald Trump. And again, I want to say this. I'm definitely one of the ones that told y'all Donald Trump needs to be in office. Donald Trump, don't put Kamala in office. Let Donald Trump go in office. And it was a method to the madness, my G. I didn't tell y'all that because I fuck with Donald Trump. I don't know Donald Trump. I ain't with none of that. I told y'all that because for the fall of white supremacy, you need a white person to do it. See, we at a point in American history where you need a white person to destroy white on white, dog fur on dog fur violence. You can't have a black man in office for the dog fur to have somebody to blame, for the dog fur to have somebody to point the finger at. You can't have a woman in office, black, white, whatever. You can't have a female in office so that these MAGA lovers can say, hey, man, they can point the finger at a woman. They can point the finger at a black man. They can point the finger at a Latino or a Mexican. You need a white man. You need dog fur on dog fur violence. That's what you need. So there's no fingers to point except at yourself. There's nobody to blame except yourself. Full accountability has to be taken. And that's what we see happening on American soil. You got dog fur people nationwide saying they regret their vote. They wish they never did this. They're losing their farms. They're losing their cars. They're losing their house. They're losing everything at the decision of another dog fur having white man. This is how it's supposed to happen. No other way, shape, form, or fashion. If Kamala Harris was in office, every white person in America would be blaming black people and blaming women for the fall of America, for the fall of white supremacy. That's why that's why I said don't vote. That's why I went against Kamala, amongst other reasons. They was going to use Kamala to emulate a black woman so that every white person in America could blame black women for the fall of white supremacy and the fall of this great nation. And I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to allow you to manipulate and emulate black women and then blame black women for some shit y'all caused. Yeah. So when we look at Donald Trump, when we sit back, we're looking at dog fur on dog fur violence. And there's no escaping it. Yeah, it's no way around it. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. The world is watching. The world is paying attention. Let's let my man talk one more time. He said it so eloquently. He said it so effortlessly that I can't even repeat it. I'm gonna let my man talk and then we gonna get back. Hit the like button and the subscribe button and all that. Big salute to the chat. Look.
He's also making the United States completely irrelevant in the process. If you haven't heard, China just hosted this huge summit, a dinner rehearsal, if you will, and the United States wasn't even invited. China is sitting at the head of the table, and America doesn't even have a seat. Russia was there. India was there. Iran, Pakistan, even Kim Jong-un showed up to the after party. All of them together deciding what dish they could bring now that America isn't catering the event. They discussed plans to trade in their own currency instead of the US dollar, a way to completely bypass American banks so that Washington can no longer freeze their deals or block their transactions. They talked about building their own emergency fund, a backup to the IMF so that when countries go broke, they don't have to sell their economies off to US corporations just to get a bailout. They talked about using China's GPS system instead of ours. They talked about laying down pipelines and railways that avoid U.S. control. They talked about setting up digital payment networks that make American sanctions almost useless. Dish by dish, they're preparing for a world not catered by the United States, and everyone is bringing something to the party. China is bringing the checkbook, the satellites, the leadership. Russia is bringing oil, gas, nuclear weapons, forestry, farmland. India has 1.4 billion people, the fastest growing economy on earth. It's bringing code, engineers, factories. Turkey has a bridge between Europe and Asia controlling pipelines and railways. It has the Bosporus Strait, one of the most critical waterways on earth. Iran has oil and gas. Iran has the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping lanes. Iran also has decades of practice surviving U.S. sanctions. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Pakistan also has a massive young population. It also has geography that connects Central Asia to the Arabian Sea, opening up trade routes and ports and pipelines. Central Asia has oil, gas, uranium, rare minerals. It also has the Silk Road corridor, the bridge that connects the east to the west. Whoever controls those routes controls the flow of goods, energy, and armies across Eurasia. The world is preparing for their independence. For decades, we told ourselves that the world couldn't function without us, that the dollar was irreplaceable, that no global deal would happen without Washington's blessing, that we were the glue holding it all together. But with great power comes great responsibility, and America has been grossly irresponsible with that power. So while we were busy bullying the world into submission, they were quietly building a plan B. And this Tianjin summit was the reveal of that plan B. A dinner rehearsal for a world where America is not at the table, where America is not providing a dish. Trump called himself the peace president, the man that would end forever wars, the man that would bring the world together. Well, the world is coming together, And the plan isn't to attack America and to start another war. The plan is to build a future where America doesn't even matter at all.
Whew. Now, again, beautifully put, right? And I tell y'all, and I say this a lot, and you know, I don't want this to go over your head or under your bridge, but the rest of the world knows exactly who the indigenous people of America, who we are. They know who we are, and they respect universal law. You understand what I'm saying? So it stops them from just going to war with the dog fur. They don't want to, if they go to war with the dog fur, most likely they got to go to war with us. They don't want to break that universal law. But I will show you how strategic. My man said this, and you know, it was a powerful message. They don't want to go to war with America. They don't want to break that universal law. They're setting up a table to where America is irrelevant on the global market. Let me give you an example, right? A lot of these farmers are losing their farms because they have nobody to sell soybeans to. China was buying up 90% of America's soybeans. So now they're not buying soybeans. So whoever's growing soybeans on your farm, you damn near assed out. Okay, how about this? We don't need the American dollar. We'll create our own currency, and we won't accept American money. We will not accept the American dollar for oil, for gas, for whatever it is that you're trying to purchase. If you want to do business with one of these countries, you got to use their currency. Think about how powerful that is. Think about how strategic that is. That is what you call checkmate. And we are now, speaking of these other countries, we are now in position where you will no longer, as the American people or the American government, be able to come into these countries and assassinate their leaders anytime something don't go your way. I mean, you remember Gaddafi, don't you? You remember what happened with Gaddafi, right? You remember Gaddafi was creating a bank for Africa, backed on the you know, the natural resources made in Africa. And what did they do to Gaddafi? They was allowed to assassinate Gaddafi. Well, now we will no longer allow your white ass to send your troops over here and start eliminating and assassinating. See, we ain't got to go to war with America. We just gonna exile America. A consumer-based economy. Y'all only consume in America. So when we stop you from being able to purchase and shop and consume with us, that's where you fall at. That's where your empire crumbles at. America only thinks about war. White people, dog fur having Caucasoid people, they only think about war. Well, it's a million ways to skin a cat. Yeah. You focused on war when it's a million ways I could get at you. China already owns a vast majority of farmland or land around farmland in America. They own our land already. They own farmland. America, dog fur having Caucasoids. Every president you ever seen slowly and surely sold out to China. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., Barack Obama, John F. Kennedy got assassinated because he wouldn't bend, break, or fold. He was in the process of giving that money and that land to the indigenous people of this soil. So he got assassinated. But anybody other than him, they slowly and surely sold out America. See, we are at a time in American history where all we could do is look at this dog fur having, this white man, dog fur on dog fur. What we got here? That's baby girl. baby girl. Oh yeah. 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 You see how that happens? Soon as I get in my groove, soon as you see how, regardless, however it go down, there is nobody to blame but y'all. So I want to end with this. Big salute to the chat. Like I said, we not staying long. Got some business to handle. Don't feel overwhelmed when you see the National Guard in your city. Don't fall for the double cross. Pay close attention to the triple cross. Don't fall for the double cross. Pay close attention to the triple cross. All right? So it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You know, you can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight, raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoat nothing. We not dressing nothing up. Pure dope and game, straight off the brick into the bottles. We ain't no fentanyl, no quinine, no baking soda. We ain't counter whipping that dope, and we ain't whipping that dope. We gonna get it to you straight raw, my G. There is no way around it. The National Guard being in your city, that's the double cross. The triple cross is gonna come when it's time to relinquish this land. When it's really time to let go of white supremacy. It's really time to let go of all of the shit y'all have done on American soil to turn it, to make it resemble Babylon. Oh, this is the promised land, but y'all have done enough on American soil to make it resemble Babylon. You know, white people, you can't run from the sins of your forefathers. You can't run from what your ancestors did on American soil and did out there in Hiroshima and did out there in Iraq and did out there in Iran and all over the globe. You can't run from that. That has to be answered for. White people, Caucasian, listen to me. You can't run from it. You have to pay for it. That's where your ancestors messed up. That's where they didn't consider their grandbabies and their great-grandkids. They didn't consider y'all. They did what they wanted to do with no consideration for their great-grandkids and their great-great-grandkids and what y'all would have to pay for their sins. You can't run from this. You can't hide from this. You can't fight your way out of this. There's no getting around this. That's why my people never returned a favor to you. Y'all always wondered why we never returned the favor of slavery. Why we never doubled back and started doing to y'all what y'all did to us. Because the melanin, our connection to the cosmos, already told us. Yeah, what y'all did to us was fucked up. But we not gonna do that to y'all. We not reaping what that, we not gonna reap what that sows. We're not going to reap what feeding babies to alligators will sow. We're not going to reap what cannibalism, hanging you from a tree, burning you at the stake, and then eating you. That's what your ancestors used to do. We're not gonna do that. See again, the connections to the cosmos. You got to understand something, my G. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. You can't, what's done has already been done. You can't erase history. It don't matter how many books. Listen, if you get rid of every book, it doesn't matter. It's written already in the cosmos. There is a cosmetic library where every action and reaction on this globe has been accounted for. Oh, yeah. I know that shit sound good. I know I sound like a preacher or something like that. That shit sound like I was at a church or something. There is no running from this. There is no hiding from it. Get down and lay down. And when you lay down, you're going to stay down. And we ain't going to have to touch you. You might want to stop looking into these United Cities and civilians of American soil. And you might want to start looking out there in China and Russia. But see, y'all don't really want smoke with them. They own you already. They own you already. Yeah. I keep telling y'all, it's in that good book. In that good book, it says, the children will reap the sins of their forefathers. The children will reap the sins of their fathers. The children will reap the sins of their fathers. It doesn't say the children will reap the sins of their mothers. It says the children will reap the sins of their fathers. The sins of your forefathers is the reason y'all in the position y'all in today. And it's a dirty game being played. It's a terrible position. It is not the fall of America. It is the fall of white supremacy. It is the fall of a nasty system that y'all have thrived in. Y'all have forced us to figure out how to survive in. A lie. A fucking fairy tale. That is what's falling. And I want y'all to understand something. Relax. Relax. I know it gives you anxiety when you see the downfall of a regime. The downfall of white supremacy. But you got to destroy before you can rebuild. You have to destroy. You have to tear it down. Every ounce, every piece, every inch. You have to tear it down before you can rebuild on top of it. And I want you to understand, we're going to rebuild on top of white supremacy. We're going to rebuild on top of this shit. And wherever y'all fall in the mix, you better be thankful. You better be grateful. We don't just start eliminating, exterminating you motherfucker. Yeah, like the Pharaoh told us to do at that tomb and all that. You better just be glad we ain't doing that. So wherever you fall in the mix, be thankful. But don't think you can stop this. Don't think you can stop the downfall of a system that y'all created. With that being said, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. Feel what I'm saying? You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap.